it's a celebration period for Muslims across the world as they celebrate the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son. But this celebration may not be as grand as expected, as Muslims in Lagos are now lamenting the high cost of rams, food and other items few hours to the Eid-Al-Adha ceremony. They admit that insecurity, high costs of transportation and rising inflation are factors that contribute to this increase. We have details in this report.
Eid-El-Adha, also known as the Feast of Sacrifice, is the significant festive period celebrated by Muslim faithful all over the world. As one of the most important festivals in the Muslim calendar, they traditionally sacrifice rams to commemorate Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son to God. However, the spike in price of ram has made it difficult for people to afford it. Other animals like sheep, goats, cows, and camels are allowed to be used for the sacrifice. However, people prefer to slaughter rams because of the teachings which placed more rewards for the adherents. This is the famous Sabo market in the Ikorodu area of Lagos State, where people come to buy rams. Some traders here say the removal of fuel subsidy has increased the price of rams, cows, among others.
Before we were taking trailer 350, but now we are paying 1,050,000 naira. Now so we carry trailer from north to here. Every one trailer over 1 million naira.
With the price of rams increased by almost 50%, buyers say they have to cut their expenses to buy at least a small ram.
Before, you will see the ram of 80, 100. Now, 250, 230.
You buy something that is lower, something that is smaller than what you intended buying. It is not the size that Allah wants to use. It is the intention.
As we move to other markets, Nigerians say the inflation has affected every food item.
I've been rolling about since morning, almost 2 hours or 3 hours. They are selling bag of tomatoes, 35,000. Why some are selling it 25,000? We can't kill cow or ram without using pepper, onion, so at least they should do something for us.
With the importance attached to this celebration, many have had to stretch beyond their usual budget to mark the festival.
Right. I particularly like the woman that said that you can't kill cow and ram without using pepper.
So some would say, some would argue otherwise, that just give me the bowl of meat. No, I'm fine.
I'm okay. But actually, it's not. These are the realities on the ground for a majority of Nigerians. The fact that there is a significance to the use of rams. So a lot of persons would want to use the rams, but affording it is the challenge as it is, because there are other things. When you look at your scale of priority, you ask yourself, can I do without the ram on my plate on that day? What happens now if I do not? So it's quite, even though you see in some cases, we hear some persons say, yes, you can go ahead, you have the permission to use other options,
right.
cheaper options, because that is what you can afford at this time. But then it's still, you know, the human nature. You feel that you are losing a reward because you are not going as it's been described by the religion.
And it's now a tough choice now to make between your religion versus the realities on ground. And well, but if I would recall, what I would say is year in, year out, we always get to this point where every festive period, you know, economists, journalists hit the market to check out the trends, and naturally, you know, low, everybody complaining, sellers complain of low patronage, and the buyers also, you know, expressing their frustration. I think it also underscores the need for us to have, stability in our economy, because this is festive. This is a festive period, and give it to people, give it to Nigerians. This is a ritual for many people, and people shouldn't have to, break the bank. People should not have to be mixing their joy in witnessing another festive period with, the fact that their pockets might not just get them even rams and all of that. So it's really a tough one. Some are attributing it to fuel subsidy removal. It has become a debate, but some are saying this has always been there even before the commodity was, the subsidy on the commodity was removed. So, and of course, when you look at the impact again with the flooding, the rain season, there's also talk about transportation too.
Yeah.
So naturally, and we know that this rams always come from up north, and of course it also it begs the question of investment in the agricultural chain.
Livestock.
In livestock, for example, as in why do we have to have it concentrated in one area? We know how our roads are. The government is doing what it can. We spoke earlier about, just imagine bringing rams from a place like Lagos Ibadan Expressway naturally, and they have to bring it to the interiors of Lagos State. Naturally, it's business for these traders, and some people are trying to make some incentives, but then it's business. The average
business is business. You are in business to make profits.
Absolutely.
You're not in business to make a loss.
Right.
So you have to put all the costs together. And you made a valid point talking about why do we have to wait or to, bring these rams from up north. Why are we not looking locally? Why are state governments not looking at, okay, perhaps we need to look at areas like this to begin to look at how to create some areas where we can have some of this livestock. If it is something we can bring farmers together, bring people who are in the business to say, okay, for the state, do this so that people can easily access this in a way of cushioning the effects for times like this. How to make it cheaper for the people. It's all about accessibility, because the cost of transportation, we have removed fuel subsidy. Definitely, that would impact the cost of transportation. And whoever is in business will fix that in the cost. Maybe a ram of maybe 70,000 now goes for about 100,000 naira.
At the least.
Of course, because the costs. I recall some other person saying he was in the market for 2 hours and couldn't get, he came with a particular amount of money, but he couldn't buy a ram because they told him, you need to go and bring, I think, about 35,000 to add to what he already had in the market.
And I'm sure the person must have jacked up the money he came with. Obviously, it must have been much more than what he bought a ram for, but now he has to get extra money from anywhere.
And he said he did not have any money in his account to add at the time. So what does he do? So it's just a really concerning situation. I don't want to use the word sad. It's concerning. But you know how Nigerians are. There are those who find a way around these things. Pull resources together. Let's buy one ram and share. Perhaps there are those who can begin to look at that. There are little amounts. If it is 10,000, you can contribute, and you have about 10 persons coming together to say, okay, let us buy the ram. You get your portion of 10,000. The major thing is you got the ram. And that's it. You can celebrate, then perhaps augment with other livestock. The issue is that you got ram at the end of the day. But it is a critical situation that we need to begin to look into as a government. State governments need to look at how to cushion the effects of. We know that there's going to be a celebration, and we already know how it is with people. What do we do to cushion the effect? Palliatives can come in this form for Nigerians, because you know that they are going to celebrate. It's not just one sector, whether you're in private or public sector. It's a generality of the people how do we cushion the effect for them? That's a critical aspect.
Absolutely. Now more than ever before, it's gratifying. Looking through the papers, trying to get something a bit different, because everyone, almost every daily, almost every media outlet, is talking about this, the impact of food. I mean, ram on the one hand, like the woman we also reported, like ram on the one hand. What about pepper? What about basic food stuff? What about tomatoes? The prices.
The basket was 35,000.
It's alarming, and it's not just starting now. It's I mean, basic.
We've not even talked about the cost of either the bag of rice now.
Rice, for example. I mean, these are staples. These are food items that we produce here in Nigeria, and I mean, that is really worrying for me. This is something that we have in abundant portions, and Nigerians are having to pay exorbitant prices to eat, basically, to have food on their table. And I think planning will also go a long way. I mean, we know that festive periods are around the corner. And this period has also made people be very ingenious with ideas to just get by. I mean, you gave Nigerian solutions, basically, on what they could do. Even before now, people have been eating rams. People have been doing the share a ram, share a goat, share a cow. As in people have just been, it's food after all. Like even the traders would say, we don't have any choice. We will buy it at whatever price that it's been sold in the market, because this is food we're talking about. It's not like a luxury that you can say you want to do without. This is food after all.
It's critical, because even now the sellers will be running at a loss. If people cannot buy, if they can't sell their products right now, it means that they are going to incur certain costs that they cannot, argument. In business, you have to look at the costs, overhead costs, and then if you do not sell your products during a particular period, if you say you want to go back to the market, how do you cover for the losses you made in terms of not selling your product at a particular time? So they might be running at a loss at this point. Some would be forced to sell their products off, or because they know that they have to do away with some of this product. Now, because the cost of feeding the ram is also there to ensure that the ram stays healthy and looks healthy for whoever is buying.
That's also another implication too, that the rising cost of animal feed is also impacting on the price
of ram. So these are critical issues that perhaps governments need to begin to look at to make things easy for some of these persons. I was speaking with my gate man the other day, and he was lamenting as well with regards to this Salah issue. He said that he can't travel right now. The cost of transportation to his hometown in Kebbi State, for instance,
is enough to consider.
That initially it used to be 9,000 Naira. At this point, it is 20,000 Naira. So if he goes, what does he give to his family? How much is his salary? So he just had to send his salary to his family and say, enjoy yourselves, I will be here.
I'll be fine.
I'll be fine to do what I can at this period. And that is what it is for some of these persons. He also mentioned the aspect of the rams, that the ram that they used to buy about 70,000 or 50,000, that they can't even go close. Right now, they are looking at 150, 130,000. Where would they get that kind of money? What is his job? He is just a gateman. And the others are doing menial jobs as well. So the impact, it's just quite a bleak one for some persons, like the papers put it this morning. It's a bleak festival. So they can just, take solace in companionship, having conversations that just take their mind off what it is they couldn't afford.
True, and there's just so much. I was speaking earlier about planning, how and options, viable options that Nigerians are having to do even before the Salah period that is already here. People are planting more. People are becoming farmers, overnight farmers. You know, let us grow what we can eat.
Yeah.
I think it has come to that point now, but it's a luxury for many people. How many people, like where I live, for example, you can hardly, maybe if you want to do small farming from bags or something, but more people are looking at, but then there is just so much planning that Nigerians can do that you can do. I mean, if you look at how much you bought a ram, for example, last year, and looking at the difference now, okay, so even if I had been planning, if the average Muslim had been planning, you know, for the past 6 months or thereabout now for ram, but when you now look at the difference in having to, like your friend, for example, now you can just imagine, so I have to now cough out another 20,000 naira at the minimum of 50 now, in addition to what I've already been saving for. And I've spoken to some people, some Muslims, what are your plans? And yes, some are not traveling, and it's a big deal for many people. It's the time for families to come together after so long, and deservingly so too. People, you know, people should have that, you know, chance of opportunity, that chance of company, of family and friends gathering around them, neighbors gathering around them. And some say if that is all I can, you know, have at this time, even if you don't travel, as long as I am fine, I can't kill myself, I can't break the bank. There is life after Salah. So I might as well just, you know, remain where I am, give my family what I can, share what I can within my space, within what I have, and we'll be all right. Of course, you can't take out that.
Do not expect Laments from
no, but come to think of it, this is Nigeria. We always find a way around these things. The hunting has started already. People know this. People know that no, they're ram. We'll
do not expect anything from your colleague.
Okay, I think it's a safe thing to say. Okay, let's not expect ram, but you just be amazed. Miracles. Let's just be
miracles happen.
Let's just be hopeful that that's something will give, and you know, Nigerians will not have to despair at this festival.
But there's always a limit to planning, taking it from what you were talking about planning, because sometimes you just have emergencies. You might have been saving, but you just have emergencies that just come to just take up all that you have been saving, and then what do you do? And then the fact that since we are trying to unify the exchange of the Forex and all of it, we have seen that the Naira has been devalued, and so that has also affected some of the monies you have in your account as savings. So that's also there. So what it is now, those who are looking forward to December can begin to plan.
Indeed.
Those who are looking forward to the Christmas celebrations can begin to plan as it is from now, or let's say from July. You can start your planning, buying your children's clothes, Christmas clothes, and all of it. Because what explanation are you going to give to your child? They don't know whatever it is you are talking about. All they want is,
in their own
we need to have salaram, we need to have new clothes, we need to go to places we want to go to. So all of these expenses is what is weighing on a lot of persons. So as much as you are trying to plan, you also have considerations for what is on my scale of preference.
Absolutely.
Must I buy? Do we need to now begin to have conversations with our children? You see, right now we cannot have.
You make an adult out of your child. Let's discuss.
I cannot afford ram. We have chicken. We have this and that. You just have to manage what we have. The next celebration, perhaps we'll have ram, but there's stew, you know, there's rice and all of
that.
Absolutely. In fact, I was listening to radio yesterday, and a man was talking about how the wife has found alternative to tomatoes as stew. She now found solace in using turmeric. I don't know how she does it or what she does, but she says it's as tasty as
it must be.
As ever. So
it must be.
Right now, yes, Nigerians are finding alternatives and options, but I think that we need to have conversations with our family members so they understand, because some persons, you can't take the burden alone as a parent. Sit with your spouse, sit with your children, let's have a family meeting. Guys, this is what we can do this time around. You know, we have been having celebrations over the years. Yes, you may not need to explain to them what the situation is because they may not understand. But you and your spouse may understand. And so you sit your family together on the round table, let's discuss. You know, this year we're looking at alternatives. What would it look like having chicken, having other options outside of ram this year? Let's explore. And that may just sit well with them. How you present it might just sit well with them. Because the more you look at, okay, there's a spiritual benefit to us using the ram. But right now, that aspect might just be somewhat difficult for you, and this is what you can afford. And I believe that once you make your prayers, you can know how to put that forward before your maker to understand that this is the situation you found yourself. And so, but having that conversation will make your family understanding, and that can relieve you of the burden of saying, I failed them this time around.
Well, of course, there's so many options. There's so many options, but of course, you know, many faithful would still want to find a way around this thing. We know that, of course, the ram stands out for the average Muslim faithful, and of course,
there's also camel. Yes. Camel. For this period, camel and cow. No.
Okay, but I think we can run with the fact that, of course, ram is
the basic.
What people relate, yes. What more people relate with. And, of course, communication is key. And the governments, and of course, well-meaning Nigerians too, we're also seeing reports of, you know, notable personalities coming up at this period to help
extend
Nigerians
the hand,
at this time. That is also part of the festive season. We always, you know, many people look forward to festive seasons where there will also be, you know, a lot of sharing, a lot of love at this time. And we hope that this time around, more and more people who have the means to would also look at it. And I believe that is also a big part of Salah. Many people cutting across religions use this period, even beyond, you know, fellow Muslims use this period to I'm going to my family, I'm going to my neighbors, you know, to also join in the Salah festivities, and I look forward to it. I must confess, I look forward to Salah. You know, the fact that, you know, neighbors, bonding. It's a bonding period for many Nigerians, and no matter what happens, we all pray for the best. But no matter what happens, we hope that that bond, we don't lose it as we
absolutely. That communality we enjoy with one another. And so it's a period of you don't have to be a Muslim faithful to extend a hand of love. If you see that your neighbor who is perhaps a Muslim faithful, not being able to meet up with certain things, you can just extend a hand of love, no matter how little it is. Just extend a hand of love to the person, just to show some concern, just to show that, yes, you understand the situation and you're just there to help. That will go a long way as well. There are some persons we know around us that we know we should help at this period. That will help also relieve the tension they are facing. We know the level of mental health issues, challenges some people have been thinking of how to resolve certain matters with regards to the celebration, but extending a hand of love, concern, and help to these persons will relieve them of all of the concerns they have at this period. And it is critical that whether you're a Muslim faithful or not, just show care and love to your neighbor. It is critical. And please do not ask anybody for salamit if they did not bring it, because you might just be opening a closed wound.
Right? You might get something. You might get something else. You know. But all right. Let's just keep our head up. And,
absolutely.
and pray for better times.